Hey yo, welcome to the Boston Sports Brothers podcast. Jumping on solo here on Tuesday. We recorded last night before game 4, and it didn't feel right to not address obviously the biggest situation with Jayson Tatum going down last night and the Celtics losing game 4, now down 3-1 in the series. But really it's secondary at this point after JT goes down with what looks like an apparent Achilles injury to his ankle. Just absolutely devastating. There's no other way to put it. It's sad. It changes the fabric of the Celtics and the NBA landscape, to be quite honest, in a way that you never sort of anticipated here. So the Celtics window for a championship now is completely altered. This offseason is going to be one that probably sees players on the move: Porzingis, Holiday, Hauser. Those are three players that come to mind in terms of, are they on this team next year? And it's just absolutely devastating. You hate to see it. Tatum also was just having one of his most impressive playoff games overall. We talked about on the podcast how a JT 50-point performance was something that we might see. And he was well en route to that. In terms of the game itself yesterday, the Celtics weren't going to win that game, even if Tatum had played until the end. New York had started to run away with it, and defensively, they just were not locked in the way that they needed to. Too many times they went between the team Celtic basketball where they're moving the ball. You saw it at the beginning of the game when they jumped out to the lead. And then there were just way too many possessions where this team just decided to play iso ball, dribble, 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 put up a stupid fucking three. The game plan was poor. Missoula has been outcoached by Tom Thibodeau in this series, to be quite honest. And it's just, we have game 5 tomorrow night. The day that this podcast will release is Wednesday. And in game 5 tomorrow, where hopefully the Celtics can at least win one for the Garden home crowd and for JT, and perhaps something of a miracle happens where they could get it to a game 7 where anything can happen. JT probably done, obviously, here for the rest of the playoffs based on what we saw. Potentially all of next season if it is an Achilles tear. I did see the comment that said, the best sort of thing to relate this to is Kevin Durant when he tore his Achilles. And Durant has come back and been a good player, but hasn't necessarily been on the best of teams here. But there is a pathway for Tatum to come back if it is an Achilles tear. So extremely sad news for Tatum. Sad news for the Celtics. Looks like the chance of repeating in Banner 19 is on hold for the time being. We got a full episode we recorded yesterday recapping Game 2 and Game 3 from this series, as well as all of our usual around town, but felt like we needed to jump on here and at least address the Tatum situation. So here's a full episode with the rest of the fellas. Hope everyone has a great day, and go Celtics the best we can. All right, here's the episode. And welcome back to the Boston Sports Brothers podcast. 4 bros this evening. Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing
Doing
the
pretty
best you
good.
can after a crazy weekend.
Crazy
Woo!
weekend that we'll get into. We had some Vegas boys enjoying the Dead and Co. out in Vegas. We had a birthday over the weekend of our very own Samuel Krasner. Sam, happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday.
Thank you,
Birthday, bruh.
boys.
And
Much appreciate the love.
Gabe should be on with us shortly. He is en route back to the podcast studio as we speak. And what we're going to speak on right now is our beloved Boston Celtics. We're recording right before Game 4 this evening, and so Big E, take it away. A few things to get into here.
Yeah, I think let's start with, we're in a little bit of a better place right now, and we'll explain a little bit why in a second. But let's start with where we were after game 1. Not a great place, right? The total collapse. Figured, hey, Celtics are going to come out. They're going to do much better in game 2. And that's not what happened. They lost in infuriating fashion. And I think that the thing that was most frustrating is this team has the inability to take it to the basket sometimes, and they almost get a little bit too three happy. Where if it's an open three or the ball is moving, I typically don't have a problem with it. But you got to get points on the board, and sometimes they just they try and take the hard way versus or try to stick to their guns versus trying to adapt and try something different. What were your takeaways from game 2? Because it was about as frustrating as a game as I can remember as a Celtics fan.
Yeah, they were just awful from 3-point land. And we know this team, they live and die by the three. And when they're not hitting it, they were just going right back to it, right back to it. And I think we were all saying in their group chat was like, can you just go to the hoop? Like, you have these guys in foul trouble. It's honestly, it's kind of tough to remember all the way back. It was so long ago, but it was, I think you had KP in foul trouble and they weren't going after him. And you had such a great opportunity to try and, sorry, Karl Anthony Towns was in foul trouble,
Yeah.
and you had such a great chance to exploit that, and you're just not going to the basket where he's going to be sitting under there, and you're just shooting these brick threes left and right. So I just didn't think they adapted at all, Eric, to your point, and I think Joe Mazzulla should be at fault for a little bit for that too, because he could have called timeouts, he could have tried to say something, but I think he lives and dies by the three, just like the team with the analytics. So a little frustrating. But when they're hitting the three, you know, it's tough to beat them, as we've seen.
Yeah, Plotty, Sam, what do you
Yeah,
got? What are your thoughts on game two?
Go ahead, Kraz,
two,
Kraz, take it away.
yeah, two. I mean, really, that second game is just, it was just, I don't know what happened to Tatum at the end. He, he got double teamed and there was no one around and he just
Yeah.
fucking threw it up in the air. So
Lost the dribble.
I can't, that just kind of sucks. I mean, it shouldn't have gotten to that place to begin with. I was uh texting Hoopus off to the side, my buddy, and we were just like, oh dude, this team is like, it was when they're driving to the rim and then they dish out to the open guy that's wide open on the arc. Those are the threes that I want. Even if it doesn't go in, it's still a good look. And that's the type of ball movement that you want because that opens up the floor, that creates an open guy, that allows you to create offense, generate offense, going to the hoop. And I mean a lot of it does come from their transition play. I mean, when they're on the fast break, um, they'll go to the dish and kind of dish out to somebody. But for me, that was the one thing that I noticed is they got up to that 20-point lead once again, and we get into territory where now you can't really be comfortable with any lead with this team. It feels like.
It was unbelievable how much of a carbon copy game two was of game one.
Deja vu.
And the same exact thing happened. And you're just sitting there saying to yourself, how the fuck are we letting this happen again the same exact way? Uh, and they didn't adapt, and they pretty much went scoreless in the last 8.5 minutes of the game from the field until Tatum made that layup. And then the whole foul situation where they're in the bonus at the end of the game, it was one of those games you sit on the couch at the end of it and your mouth is sort of just hanging open and you're like, how did that just happen? Like I couldn't move for a solid 10 to 15 minutes after that game from the couch, just in disbelief. And the frustrating part was like, okay, if you have a game that comes down to the wire, fine. Like, the Knicks pulled it out, but those were just two epic collapses. But it turned around in the other garden.
Well, I think even before we get there, but even before
I
we
was
get
gonna
there,
say
like,
really quick.
go ahead.
It reminded me of I don't know if you guys, obviously you guys remember, but towards the tail end of the big three, Pierce, Ray Allen, and well, I mean, actually, I don't even think Ray Allen was there at that point anymore. But you just kind of you sat there after you watched them lose in the playoffs, and it was just like, and you had that weird feeling. I don't have that weird feeling again with this team.
No,
This
not at all.
team, I think is, knock on wood. You guys know me. My fucking stool has a mark on it for me knocking so much. I do think they're going to pull it off tonight, and we can talk about game three a little bit more.
We'll see. I want to talk one more thing about game
Yeah,
two, and I think
agreed.
this was the inability and the frustration thing, and I think Josh, you have another thought after this. But I think we all want Tatum and Brown to be the man to step up in these situations. But I think the biggest problem for me in game two was it wasn't that it wasn't Tatum or Brown that didn't step up. It was that literally no one stepped up. It was a beautiful opportunity for Derek White, Drew Holiday, up and down the roster, Peyton Pritchard. It didn't have to be someone who played great the entire way down the stretch, but we needed someone to come up and start hitting some shots within the fourth quarter, and it was just utter embarrassment. So I do want to throw a lot of the blame towards Brown and Tatum, but I think there's going to be a lot of blame on the team because
No,
the team didn't
The
step
generate
up.
starts from them. I mean,
And
the
and
offense starts from
and
them.
and Eric, to your point, that person that they were missing is KP.
Yeah,
He was missing him going out in the first half was huge. They were clearly missing a void, being able to rebound the ball and getting those second possessions that potentially that they could have had a kick out three or something like that because clearly they weren't getting their first possession shot, so they needed some type of opportunity to get another one. And he just wasn't there for any of those chances, and that was clearly a miss, and we'll talk about game four and game three, sorry. And I think he was a big X factor in game three. Even just his presence
yeah.
being out there. So that was also a really big factor of him not being able to stick out the second half of game two.
Are we done with the misery of game two? Because I think
Please,
I'm ready to put this behind us.
please, please.
All right, let's transition to game three. We
Let's get
we
a glass
Half
half
chub.
full here.
yeah, we go from the Boston Garden to Madison Square Garden in New York, and good thing that the Celtics are a little bit of a better road team this year than they have been at home because holy shit, did we need that win? And just overall, like everything that we were hoping to see in game one and game two came to fruition in game three. Um, were there times that there were, miscues and sloppiness in the game? Of course, it's the playoffs. It's always going to happen. But they maintained a lead, maintained a large lead. And while, we didn't have that breakout game from Tatum, other players stepped up. Al had a hell of a game. Peyton Pritchard, 23 points. Like this was exactly kind of my big gripe with game two was no one really kind of stood out. There were a bunch of players that I feel like stood out in this game, and KP was one of them. He was a huge plus player on Saturday. I was trying to
Mhm.
remember my days. Vegas will do that to you on Saturday. And I just feel like overall the team played with better ball movement, hustle, defense. They just seemed to. I kind of said this a little bit earlier about like Tatum, but like he looked like he was gliding more on the court than kind of like getting stuck and stop and playing iso ball. It was nice to see.
It was a much better game, is what you expected them to do in game one and game two, and they pretty much did that for 3.5 quarters in both of those games, and just didn't close it out in those other two. The threes fell in this game, 20 of 40, so 50% from three. Missoula ball ends up working, but I couldn't agree more on the Porzingis thing. Even him out there, and he's clearly like gutting through whatever he has going on. Rumor mill, you want a rumor mill? Mono, potentially.
The
Oh,
kissing
I was
disease.
I
That's what
was
people
I
are.
was
That's what
thinking
people are
mono,
saying.
or I was
Yeah,
thinking Limes. He was having a Limes
KP.
flare up.
I think KP knows how to party, if you know what I mean. So
Hey,
oh,
you
I
know
think the
what?
KP.
first one might make sense.
I just heard the rumor, and not a lot of people have spoken about said rumor, but we'll speak about it.
It's out
So
there.
To other game three
I
takes.
yeah,
Go ahead,
I
J-Mac.
have a game thought. So we were watching it in a pretty cool experience where there was a lot of people, and there were actually a lot of Celtics fans where we were, and a lot of cheers and whatnot. But I do this. The game was what, 25-point lead at halftime, something around that, I think. And at one point in the third, I'm looking at the play by play right now, and I think it was like with about 5 minutes left in the third quarter. The Knicks got it down to 15. So there were shades of kind of like what was happening in the Boston Garden going on in the third quarter. And they were able to right the ship, the Celtics, and extend that lead, and then also close it out and extend it even more where enough where they were able to put the second stringers in. So that was a really good thing to see, is that they were able to kind of like weather the storm at their place when something similar was kind of going on and not let it happen a third time. So you have to think that they're not going to let that happen a fourth time. So,
Jay, Matt,
really,
you
really
hit the
good to
nail on
see.
the head there. I mean, you said it perfectly well. It was the first two games is that the punch came in and they fell and they didn't get back up, and they didn't get back into the ring, and this time, game three, they did get hit in the face. They got right back up and they continued fighting and they won. And that's what we've seen this team do time in and time out. And I think, when we rewind this 15 minutes and we go back to, we kind of all just sat there like, what the fuck just happened, is because we're so used to them going through adversity, breaking through that adversity and overcoming it. We're kind of used to it at this point. call us spoiled, whatever the case is. That's how this team is. That's how this team's built. That's how this team plays. They play against adversity. They play with adversity.
I
Expectations.
I still think Tatum is primed to have
Yeah,
that big
he needs
game.
that big game. He
Yes.
does.
And I'm not just saying he's primed to have one. I think he has a few that's in him. So could he
Definitely.
completely take over the series and go off in game 4, 5, and 6? I'm not going to say no. Um, I don't think he's going to go off in all three, candidly, but I think there's a good chance he goes off in game 4 and game 5.
Tonight's a big
From there,
one.
we'll see.
We
So this is a big test for him.
need him in game four. Game four is the Tatum game. That I
I
agree,
think
Eric.
also all the greats have a performance in New York at some point in their career, and this is a great opportunity for Tatum and Brown for that matter
Mhm.
to go off and have themselves a game. So really
I think
hoping
they
that one
have
of the
in the
two of them can really
past.
kind of show out tonight.
Yeah, all a really huge game tonight. We'll recap everything on next week's episode, rewinding back to tonight. We know it might not necessarily be evergreen when we release this episode, but the fact of the matter is we recap everything here when we get the ability to do it. So, game 4 tonight, hoping for one of those big games. Doesn't really matter to me who steps up. I mean, if Pritchard or White or whoever wants to lead the charge at this
Whoever the
point,
Please.
like
fuck wants to
I
Team
don't
step
give
up,
a
effort.
yeah.
somebody.
Who gives it like Celtic
Luke Cornett,
basketball?
please, where are my doggies at?
He's been great. He's actually been great
He
this
He's
he
series.
been
has
awesome.
he's been great. Horford real I think the extra day of rest benefited him going into game 3. So big one tonight. If they win, it becomes a 3-game series with 2 games at home for you there. So uh go Celtics, baby, go Celtics. So
Oh
we're
yeah.
gonna we're gonna turn the page to a quick Sox minute because there's probably 2 big things that we need to talk about with the Sox. Kraz, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, sure. We finally have somebody to step up and take accountability for this team, and that's just like who I said it would be, and Alex Bregman. Um, he literally, I'm not sure which game it was. I believe it was one of the games versus Kansas City. He literally was just like, we're still trying to find our identity. We're trying to figure out who we are as a team. We're all, kind of coming together, playing on different teams, and forming a new infield, outfield, so on and so forth. So, that kind of not want to toot my own horn there, but kind of told you so. I'm just kidding. The bullpen's
You did.
still a little bit of an issue. Garrett Whitlock, kind of distressing, is he just having a rough little blip that's gonna, make his ERA evened out towards the end of the year, hopefully. Hopefully this is just, like I said, a blip on the radar and not a long time thing. But Liam Hendricks is still getting his feet underneath him. The one thing, we do need to realize, especially about relief pitchers, is you can't just, he hasn't pitched in, I believe, almost a year and a half or 2 years or so. You can't just go back out into that high intensity level and expect people to we got someone joining us. You,
Huh.
you you can't just expect to go, from not playing at all into that high intensity of situation and expect to perform at the highest level. Um, Welcome, Gabriel. I'm glad you
Sup,
made it.
Look at
bros?
this.
How we
True,
doing, my
true,
friend?
straight from work
Bros.
fashion, right to the pod.
Yeah,
Dedication, baby.
excuse the chest hairs from flying out here.
That's all right. We
We love it.
we just
Zaddy.
wrapped up the Celtics. We'll let you get a take in when we hit Bruins on anything you want to hit on Celtics. But Kraz has us in mid Sox report. Kraz, continue on.
Yeah, no, like I was saying, hopefully with Whitlock, it's just a
Yeah,
blip.
but what about the
And
crybaby who won't go to first base?
Devers, it, so there were a couple posts that have been removed. Sports Illustrated wrote about it as well yesterday. Apparently that translator completely fucked up what they were supposed completely fucked up what Devers actually said. And I understand why now after I was doing a little bit more digging. Devers came at the front office really fucking hard. And again, I don't speak Spanish, so I can't tell you what he said verbatim. But a lot of the people on Reddit just said that he fucking completely roasted the shit out of the front office. Um, and that, he's willing to play first base, but they can't just expect him to pick up a first baseman's glove and go out and just be a legitimate first baseman. It's going to take him some time. He's going to have to take reps. He hasn't picked up a glove since fucking spring training because of them. So I wouldn't even really call him a crybaby at this time because if anything, the front office said to him, "Don't pick up a bat. We don't want you to fucking take reps. I mean, don't pick up a glove. We don't want you to take reps. We want you to fucking just worry about DHing and getting yourself into a groove." And that's what he did. He's the MLB player of the week, and now they want him to play for his space. So he
But
he he went off on the front office. He said, "You go do your fucking." He literally said, "Go do your fucking job."
I mean, it sounds like your team Devers. To me, it's like I get it.
I'm not
He's had to
because I have a hot
transition.
take after this.
Yeah, but like then he is being a crybaby because you play for a team and
He's not.
at any profession, at any sort of place that you work, if your bosses come to you and are like,
Yeah,
"Hey, we really need you to do something for us
I,
here. I know it's not necessarily
sure.
what you're comfortable with."
I got a
And
take
if
too.
you had that response anywhere else, your fucking ass is out on the
Sure.
street.
Yeah, I'll do it, but I am not going to be efficient at it if I don't know what I'm doing there.
He
And
Is
easily
what
could
he
have.
and
said.
He
and
easily
That's
could
what he
have
said.
said.
I don't think he's going to be good at it.
He
None of us know what
easily
he
could have
said
said,
because he
I
"I
think
didn't
he
need
say it in
knows.
Devers."
English.
I
He
think
said it
he
in
knows.
Spanish.
I think he knows he's not going to be good at the position. That's why he has hesitations to go over there
Eh,
because it's a
We don't
lot
know
harder than
that.
you think, Sammy, than third. It's way different. It's way different position.
of
Like,
course, it's a way to. It's a different glove.
and if you've never played there, what do you think? You're just gonna like
It's a completely different position.
he's gonna go over there.
It's
Big E's
like being a
shaking his
catcher.
So
head.
a team that has the second most errors in the MLB, you want a player that has never played the position to go over and play first baseman. Like
I don't.
I just don't think
I
that's a
don't.
good.
I want them
I
to fucking trade Devers.
I don't
That's
think he
my hot
knows.
Oh,
take.
oh,
I just
I
oh
want them
my
to build
God.
around
wow,
the core that we have right now,
that's
and it's the
crazy.
perfect time to do it.
Who are you bringing in for
Well, yeah,
Rafael
what are they going to
Devers?
get for him?
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna get for him.
I mean, you clear so much draft capital, you can start bringing up Anthony, start bringing up all these other people. Now you have those fucking ships. You bring up fucking Mayor. You can do whatever you want now.
Uh,
Sam is
uh,
with Ken Rosenthal in terms
Wow.
of his report. Biggie,
wow,
you were shaking your head for like the last three
I don't know if I
minutes.
would do
I feel
that.
like you got to
Yeah, I
chime
mean,
in.
it's just Devers' attitude. It's like,
So then, what are
dude,
we
you're
just
a
gonna
team
bitch about
player.
Devers' attitude for the next 10 years? No, fuck
I mean,
that. Either
that's the
get rid of
No,
him
fellowship
no,
of
no.
the
or
I
just
mean,
deal
miserable.
with
I,
it.
I mean, yeah, it is the fellowship of the miserable. It's how we used to be as Red Sox fans before there was a good period of time. I mean, I think my big problem with him is, dude, you're getting paid almost $30 million a year. Just play wherever the fuck the team needs you, and you want to. If it doesn't work out, they'll move you back. Just at
He
least
said he
try.
would.
Just
He said
just
he
I
at least
would.
try.
I
He
don't
I'm
know
said
if
he
definitely
would.
not.
anybody's said this, but I think our anger also all stems from like how the beginning of spring training happened with
Nope.
Devers and how he was. Did
Yeah,
this already get brought up?
100%.
No,
No,
you're
no,
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 on.
no, 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 no. You're right on
Okay.
no.
par. You're right on
Yeah,
par.
I just think like him showing up
Yep.
not in shape and it just like he just kind of had a bad attitude from the beginning and this is kind of just cascading from that and I understand everybody's anger. I feel it too. I don't know what the hell the Red Sox are doing. I mean, for him to disrespect the management like he has and calling out Breslow and it's just like I agree with Sam. I mean, I think he's on thin ice and I think if they could look into explore some trade options, which I don't know if they get anything good in return, then I mean that could be a potential move.
I
I mean,
just
he
Maybe
keeps trying to
be
do
I,
this.
smashing the ball, which
I
is
yeah,
Well,
I don't
smart.
think you can afford to because like the lineup some days it doesn't look, that attractive and if you don't get a really good hitter then I don't know, it's not worth it in my opinion. I just don't think it's worth it.
What would be a comparable return? I think like if you want to talk about trading him, you got to start putting out like a proposal or two that can say like, all right, this is a type of trade that I'm talking about.
He
Because
just needs to
as of
grow
right,
Well,
up.
he's a
as of right
franchise
now, I don't know
cornerstone.
if you're gonna
That's
win
a
a
head
trade like that.
case.
And I understand you're saying
uh,
like, yeah, you're gonna win from the side of getting the young kids up and getting them in the lineup. Yeah, which I totally get. But you can't just trade a player of his caliber without getting something good in return.
Mhm.
And like, yeah, I don't want to take 50 cents on the dollar. So I kind of got to hear
Yeah, but is it
what's a return that you think we could get, and is that a return that we all think is something
if
that's
another team is going to eat
realistic?
that contract, then you can go out and sign someone that's worth that's that kind of bat, that's an impact bat like that for that money. Or
So
you
you're
can
saying that
extend
you
out those
expect if
guys
you
and
expect
those
this
other
move to go
guys.
down, you expect it to happen in the off season. That's kind of like what I'm gather.
No, or yeah, I mean, yeah, either that or I mean, it just that the Mookie trade that is it was kind of similar. It was it was really a cash dump. It would be the same kind of a thing. That's and that's what would happen. I mean, any trade can happen at any time. It's just a
Get
matter
ready
of what
for
the
Alex
implications are.
Verdugo 2.0, baby. I mean,
But at the same time, I mean, we signed the kid for. I mean, I personally am fine with him where he's at the DH spot. I'm fine with him going in at ownership because you know what? The kid, I mean, they did say to him, "Don't worry about the glove, just worry about hitting, get in your routine." And now all of
I
a
would.
sudden they're making this big thing in the media about it, and he's like, "What the fuck? You guys told me to do this." So I
It's
mean, I can see both sides. Is all I'm saying.
it's a colossal mismanagement from the Red Sox ownership and management. Don't get that wrong either. Like the fact that this is all public and they've let this come out and not been able to handle it behind the scenes just shows the ineptitude with Mr. Ice Cream Boy.
I kind
Uh,
of blame Cora a little bit too because like
they're all at
why
blame
why isn't he talking to Devers like it's
because he's
weird
probably
that
on Devers' side of the
and
situation.
He
I
and
is.
assume.
that's one issue with Cora is like he's like too buddy buddy with some of these players and it's like you need to do what's best for the team and you just got some blurs behind me.
It's so good. Just some
I just
kitties.
saw Gillies.
Hey, Gilly.
I'm
So
like
good.
everyone just saw that, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it's just like I think Cora deserves some of the blame in this too. I think he shouldn't get out scot-free from this. He needs
I agree.
to kind of let the relationships go to the side
This
and talk
shouldn't
to
have
these
leaked
guys
out.
like
Uh,
they're, you
so
know, under him.
that what Devers I think could have said though is like, listen, first base isn't my natural position. I haven't picked up a glove in 2 months. If they want me to do this, I need some time to be able to go behind the scenes and get myself prepared to even have a potential of doing that. And if he had said that, we would have been
He
fine.
did.
But
He
maybe,
did,
maybe not.
but it was mixed in with a bunch of other shit.
Yeah, well, he roasted the front office
Yeah.
along
And
with
Bro,
him.
pretty
So,
pretty much said go fucking find a first baseman,
that
go
dude
well,
fucking
then
buy
stretches
that's
right
one,
now.
is
back
what he
to
said, and then said, I'm willing to play that position, but it's gonna take me some time. Like I
Devers gonna
can't just
rip
go
his
out
he's
there
gonna
and
rip his pants
fucking.
if he stretches on first
yeah.
base.
Well, the Red
Gotta get in
Sox.
I've
shape.
seen I've seen Pablo Sandoval play, and that guy could get down. So
The Red Sox,
those
really
guys can stretch.
mismanaged not having a potential other first baseman than Costas as well. So it's a shit show. The Red Sox, have had a little bit more success on the field here over the past week. They were 4-2, up to
Turn two.
22 and
Yeah.
20, trying to move away from that 500 mark. Just never seems like they can do it. But we're going to keep the train moving here onto the Bruins. Good stuff there with the Sox. Currently down 2-0 to the Tigers in their series. Tigers best team in the AL, so good series on deck here. Gabe, any Bruins notes? Anything we need to know in the world of hockey?
Nothing too crazy on the Bruins end. Still searching for a coach, which Marco Sturm's name now is thrown in there, and you still have Savard and Misha Donskov. So like, um, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I posed a question for you guys, just saying like, are you worried that the Bruins haven't signed a coach yet? I think last week we kind of touched on it a little bit, just because the draft is coming up in late June. I know the head coach probably doesn't have a ton to do with drafting players, but it'd be nice to have like a just another voice in the clubhouse. I think to kind of I don't know, challenge Sweeney and his team because, they haven't had the greatest success with drafting prospects as of late. So it'd be like, I'm not worried that they haven't signed a coach. I understand, but at the same time, I kind of wish he was in the mix for an upcoming big number 7 draft pick. What do you
Bro,
guys think?
I'm worried about everything the Bruins are doing right now, honestly. Like to your point, no one's challenging Sweeney, Cam, like they're just running, doing whatever they want. I hope that's gonna change in the draft and maybe like the scouts that have been giving Sweeney this terrible drafting information have changed or I don't know, maybe don't get somewhat of a say. But yeah, I'm nervous about whatever the Bruins are doing. I mean, they're on a pretty big downfall. From where they've been, even like from 2 years ago. But that doesn't mean that they can't right the ship and get a good coach and do all the things that we need them to do in the offseason because we're not even there yet. So I don't think it's like where like you don't have to be super nervous about like the fact that I don't have a coach, but I'm just nervous about everything that the direction of what they're doing, like as an organization in general. But the coaching
Yeah.
thing, I'm 50-50 on that one.
Yeah.
Coaching
Yeah.
wise, they need somebody. Biggie, chime in
Oh, I'm sorry. No, Plotty, you go first, my friend.
as I drink out of my Bruins cup here. Listen, I think that they need if the head coach is somebody that's still on a playoff team and that they're coaching currently, okay, fine. Like, and that's what you have to assume.
Deal.
Agree with Jay Matt, just the entire direction of the organization. I want to see what happens here in free agency in the offseason. It's hard to comment really on what it's going to look like until some of these puzzle pieces start to come into play, from my standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I would say we're all worried about the Bruins and the direction of where they're going. I will say an update on the Brad Marchand trade, just because I do think it is somewhat
Yes.
relevant, is we are very close to seeing that conditional second rounder move up to a first. Marchand has played in over 50% of the games, with 8 of 9 of the games so far in the playoffs, and they are currently tied 2-2 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So, want to give that update that trade is all intents and purposes going in the right direction for what it was intended to do.
Hit a
As
game
far as the
winner
coach
too,
not
didn't
being
he?
in the fold, what was
Yes,
that?
game
Hit a
winner,
game
Yes, he
winner
did.
as
He
well.
did. He did. He
Yeah.
did. Marchand doing Marchand things. As far as the head coach not being hired yet, I'm not concerned. I think if the right coach is out there and an assistant on a playoff team right now, I have no problem with them waiting until that person is done if they are indeed the person they feel like is the right person to run the organization. I will say from a coaching standpoint, typically they have been pretty good with their coaches. I know that Monty didn't work out well, but I feel like he was a good choice. Butch was a great choice. I know Julian wasn't their choice per se. I don't know if Cam was super involved with that because that was under Shirelli, but so far, and again, what are you going to do with an interim coach? I can't really put that on them. You have to go with whoever's on the roster. But overall, I do think they've been good at picking head coaches, so I do trust their ability to pick the right head coach. As far as the head coach having a say in who the draft pick is, I really don't think that they're going to have as much of a say as I think you guys are alluding to.
Gabe, any other NHL notes or
Yeah.
news?
Well, Eric kind of touched on that Toronto Maple Leafs Florida Panthers series. Been excellent. The Florida Panthers have finally tied it up here, which I think they've finally kind of started to wear out the Toronto Maple Leafs with their physical play. Um, it's good to see. Obviously, we want that first round pick, so I'm hoping, praying for the.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I was gonna.
Oh.
R2S2 just came in for a
Oh.
I
minute.
thought it was me, and I thought it was me.
R2S2 is in a wormhole.
Oh
That
my
wasn't
God.
me.
R2S2's
C3PO.
gone out
May
to
the
the,
force be with you.
he ships himself out west, and this is what happened.
Oh, was it me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
It
Wasn't me this
you.
time. Yeah.
You're good.
Oh, it says my internet connection is unstable. That's
Uh,
scary.
must. All right. Well,
I
you're here
find that
now.
quite a bit.
Yeah,
Welcome to
I
my
mean,
Stable
world.
now.
we're stable.
Super
Yeah,
stable.
I mean, so we obviously want Florida to win that one. I mean, Carolina's leading Washington 2-1 in that series. The Edmonton Oilers are leading Vegas 2-1.
How about
Where
Stuart, what's his name? Stuart Strinker at the end of that game to let that goal in with
yeah,
Riley
4 seconds
Smith.
left.
Riley
Oh,
Smith scoring the
crazy.
game winner goal.
Old friend.
Old friend.
Yeah, yeah. So NHL playoffs are picking up for sure. You can tell the teams are getting more physical and the games are a little bit closer. So some exciting stuff. The AHL Providence Bruins got kicked out of the playoffs, second round.
Toast.
They lost to the Charlotte Checkers. This kind of not really relevant, but I saw
This is
I
One
saw it
might
today.
one might say they were playing chess instead of checkers.
Ah, yes.
Oh.
Good job, Biggie.
Is it a checkerboard jersey?
Maybe.
It's gotta be. It has to be.
You know who might be playing chess instead of checkers, though, is head coach Mike Vrabel. I've seen a couple of videos come out of him doing some shit with Patriot players over the past couple of weeks. Looks like there's like this new sort of their own version of Hard Knocks that they're doing that I've seen here on the socials. The Patriots world is fucking crazy right now between what's going on with them as well as our former head coach. J Matt, any notes or news
Oh,
on the Pats that we want to
I
discuss?
I haven't honestly been too in locked in on the
I got one.
training camp. So Biggie, take it.
Yeah, big regrets to JordON for coming in third in the Miss Maine pageant.
Somewhat
She
Patriot
lost.
related.
It's Patriot related because we've been. I mean, the saga of Bill
He's been
Belichick and
banned from
JordON.
UNC facilities.
That was another big development. But I wanted to start with
Uh,
her
uh,
Miss Maine bid.
I mean,
I
Pablo
Fuck
Torre
about
and the
her.
report that he had, and Pablo is like a legit reporter, journalist, worked for Sports Illustrated for many years, more notable maybe on Around the Horn.
I stand with Pablo.
Yeah, I think Pablo has the juice and is getting stuff out of UNC. And I am going to tell you who I think his source is, and it's none other than Steve Belichick's wife, Jen Belichick, the commenter on the Instagram post that
Yep.
she had. And I think that
Yep.
Pablo has inroads into the
I
Belichick
saw
family
that.
and that like this whole thing is unbelievable. The fact that we had Jerry on last week and we talked about it the week before amongst ourselves and we're still talking about it now. It's like this fucking story never ends. Every single time we hop on this damn podcast, there's something new to talk
The
about.
gift that keeps on giving.
What's he
It
doing
Oh,
with a 24-year-old
he's
anyways?
the
That's what I don't
highest
understand.
paid person in the state of North Carolina. Highest
He's
paid
got a
employee, state
herpes.
employee. So like the I think the school had to step in and say, "Hey, we're saying she's not allowed here anymore."
I have a question for the group. Does he coach a game at UNC with all this going on?
Yes.
Yep, totally.
He'll get a
Yes.
season, and if they suck, he's gone.
And what would it take though for like what would put it over the edge for him not to? Because it's to me it's just like this guy's becoming more of a
It
distraction than
Seeing him
anything
on the
else that I've
sideline
seen in
I
professional
or
sports.
in
What if
game.
she gets
I
pregnant?
don't think it would be. Oh, I was
Oh,
gonna say no. It
oh
wouldn't
my
be that. I was
God,
thinking that,
Eric.
but it wouldn't be
Jeez.
that. It would be that she is continuing to be a distraction, and it's affecting the team.
I think
So
it
I
would
don't
be if
think
there's like
it's.
a one night in
I
Paris
hope Bill can't,
situation. Like they
I hope
make
he's
a
got I
porn,
hope he's got a
there's a
Oh, a
porno
pilot.
video.
together, and then
Oh,
the
a
video
video
comes
would be
out.
great.
Oh, I
A
mean we
video
oh
would be
well
insane. Oh
then
my
there's
God.
Pablo
The
today.
herpes man himself. I
Pablo
love Bill, but
today.
always that thing on his fucking lip.
The Ring video that came out about Belichick, the one where it looks like, he just got done with the doing and is in Nantucket, comes out on the porch, gives a nice big stretch. Now Pablo's
Oh,
saying
the ring
that
video.
that video was intentionally leaked, perhaps from JordON herself. So
Oh,
so
Oh,
I don't know.
definitely.
This is just like I
A
just can't
hundred
even.
percent.
Is
she's
he being
diabolical.
extorted?
It's I don't know. I mean, at this point, anything's possible, as KG would say. So, it's just a crazy, crazy situation.
Whew.
One note back to the Patriots here is defensive coordinator Terrell Williams had a brief health scare. He had to remain in Detroit during rookie minicamp. Sounds like the life of coaches is one that doesn't afford you much time outside the building to really focus on yourself and sounds like he maybe had a little bit of a wake up call there. So wishing the best to Terrell. And the schedule for the NFL season comes out this Wednesday, fellas. So
Cool.
we'll talk a little bit more about that, the matchups and so on and so forth.
We're gonna go through the season, the schedule next week, and we're gonna go through and say win or loss.
I like
Oh,
it.
See how it holds up.
Win.
Felger and S
Loss.
coming right at you.
Win.
Tie. The game's gonna end in a tie.
Ty.
Gotta shout out Big Jim, who's just been on the whole Jordan Belichick thing. He's
Oh my
been so
God.
fucking funny with everything that he said on the radio. And apparently, like back to Pablo, Pablo goes, Belichick's apparently having to, do some sort of male performance injections right into the area, if you know what I mean. So
The
if
hog.
You could just say it. It's a penis.
yeah, so Belichick's injecting the wiener with I don't
This is
like it's
getting
it's
crazy.
fucking nuts. So
Wow.
but
So
Big
many
Jim
rumors.
Big Jim goes, if
Wasn't
my
on my
hog
big
Congrats,
go-kart tonight.
congrats on the
No.
sex bill. You're
Big
getting
Jim
a
goes,
fucking needle to the dick.
if my hog needs a needle to the dick to be able to rock and roll when I'm 75, just hang my Hog jersey in the rafters at that point and call it a
I'm
day.
just thinking about
I
the
was
water
gonna
boy right
say
now
he's
after you said needle dick.
needle dick, needle dick.
She really is diabolical. Wow.
She,
That
I'm
So,
telling you, dude, there's something
Huh.
about her. I bet she's a Gemini.
well, congratulations on third place in the Miss Maine pageant taking place at the Holiday Inn by the Sea, Portland, Jordan Hudson. Well
Second
done.
runner up, as they say.
Second runner up. Hey,
Second
you know
runner
You
what?
up.
get a lobster roll.
She's on the pedestal, third in the bronze position. So good for her. On
Yeah, good
to
for her.
bigger and better things now.
Always happy for
That's over.
JordON.
Always happy for JordON. Keep living your
Are we?
life, baby. Enjoy. All right.
Fuck that
You know
bitch.
what else we enjoy? Biggie, I've been looking forward to this segment for a long time. Your long awaited return from a weekend away. It's time.
For my favorite segment of the week, it is we're gonna talk about the things that we hate, the things that suck, the things that make us go, oh, those are the things that make me go, yeah, oh, like get the hell out of here. Psh, get out of here. All right. And then on the flip side of that, we have the things that are wonderful, stupendous, fantastic. The things that make me get up and go, hell yeah, I love this thing. You want to know what that makes me do more than that? It makes me get on the top of my feet. And it makes me go, oh yeah, who's got a yeah?
What?
Or an oh yeah for this week.
I think it's you. I think you hold the
I,
mic and keep going there,
Yeah,
All
buddy.
right,
yeah,
all right,
you
all right.
take it away.
I'm gonna kick it off with an oh yeah. I'm gonna give an oh yeah to having a bachelor party in Las Vegas and having an oh yeah to all the people that came on out. I know everyone spent a pretty penny to come out and have a fun experience there, so does not go unnoticed, and really appreciate everyone who did come on out. I also want to throw an oh yeah to the people who couldn't come out because I know life gets in the way and there's other stuff there, but love you guys, and we're gonna do this again next year, and I'll explain why in a second. But um, Vegas, huge oh yeah for Vegas. Las Vegas is a hell of a fucking city. I've only been there. This is my second time as an adult, maybe third. It is just, and I say as an adult because Josh and I went as children, so it is a little bit of a different experience when you're like 14 and 11 versus being in your 30s. So just like being able to go sit at the tables, I played a lot of blackjack, a lot of roulette, a lot of craps. Went on a heater at the craps table actually as a roller, which was awesome.
Oh yeah.
But like besides the casinos and the amenities, we went to the beach and the pool for a while. Got to talk about the main event, which was going to the Sphere and seeing Dead and Company. Absolutely unreal experience, and it's something that I think the Boston Sports Bros are already looking forward to planning in 2026 when the Dead and Company inevitably announced their residency around this time next year. The visuals were off the chain. Set list was fantastic. Everything they played was top notch. Just everything that you could want and expect for your experience, not just the Dead, but with the Sphere. I think the only other thing that was also a huge oh yeah was going and watching some live sports and sports betting and watching the Celtics at the sports book. It was great. The vibes were high. Everyone there, I would say, was like 90% Celtics fans
Nice.
versus Knicks. So we
Awesome.
felt like we were with our people, which was exciting, and also a huge oh yeah to Bavette's
Oh, but that's a
Holy
steak
great.
restaurant
shit.
restaurant out there was
Unreal.
awesome.
Told
Our
you.
waiter was the man. He hooked it up with I got an old fashioned with some top end, top shelf Japanese whiskey, which I never tried before, and it was fantastic. Probably the best steak I think I've ever had in my life. And I've been to a
Sent out
bunch
a
of
round
steakhouses.
for your bachelor party too. They sent out a toast of some
Yeah, it
sparklings, which
was
was nice.
very classy, very cool. Overall, just like an amazing time, and just about enough time in Vegas. We took a red eye back and got back at like 5 in the morning on Sunday, so everyone kind of had Sunday to kind of catch on up, see their mothers. Big oh yeah for the mothers. Let's give a
Oh yeah.
huge oh yeah to the
Oh yeah, to
mothers.
Mother's Day.
Yeah, Mother's Day. So wanna just shout out all the moms who listen
Hi,
to the
mom.
podcast. Our moms who are, obviously created us and we love them. But of the moms of the podcast too, and the guests who may be moms as well. So
Yeah, shout out to Marina for sure. I know Gail's a mom.
yep.
Karen,
Karen.
not sure, but hopefully, I believe she is. So, shout out to all the lovely females and mothers out there for all that you do, both that seen and not seen. We know being a mom is a lot of work. It's really like having two jobs, to be honest, and you help bring life into the world. So, shout out to all the lovely women and all of our lovely women listeners on the podcast. Uh, back to I have a couple things to pick at for Vegas. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
pick
All
at
right.
them.
so good.
So the sphere is the sphere. I think we've all seen the videos. It must get out there. Now, Bavets is also in Chicago, and I went to the
Yes.
one in Chicago about a month ago, and I could not agree more with your assessment.
Hmm.
Unbelievable steak. If you're in either
Best I've ever had.
Vegas or Chicago, don't
Told you.
Bavets, and some sort of whiskey drink. In terms of tell us more about like where you stayed. Any
Yeah.
stories? Did we have any
Josh, go ahead.
We stayed.
moments? What performance enhancements were being
Did
taken?
anybody
I
Everything we
mean,
need to
sacrifice the
know.
so
lamb?
we stayed at the W. If you want to, the W is a great place because it
W.
connects to the Mandalay Bay and it connects also to Luxor. And then there's also like a tram that goes from Mandalay to Excalibur, so it kind of like cuts out a bit of the strip. So it was a great place, and I've never been to Vegas before as an adult. Like to be able to get on a table at like 9 a.m., which was like pretty
That's awesome.
crazy to me. Like wake up and literally roll out of bed and like go like play some blackjack and
I'm
roulette
gonna
was
go gamble
awesome.
my money.
It was just a crazy experience. Just the people watching, just so many walks of life. Especially at the Dead show, like such an inviting crowd. Any, I wasn't sure if like the Vegas crowd would be like a crowd at like a tour Dead show type of situation, if what it would be like. But I thought for the most part the crowd was in it. They were great, super friendly, like what exactly the same experience you would see at like a any Dead show. So
Now,
I wasn't sure
were
if
you
Vegas was gonna
guys
ruin that, but it totally didn't. Totally
were
didn't.
you guys able to hit up Shakedown?
So
Uh,
we didn't hit up
we didn't
Shakedown,
go.
but Simon and Jared, two of our friends, Max's brother, I mean Sam's brother, they went to Shakedown and
Nice.
they acquired some of the
Some good
necessities. Yeah,
some
so.
goodies.
New
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
trophies.
the
and I think
visuals were
just
crazy, the sound was crazy. If you're a deadhead, if you're a heady, um, don't miss drums in space at the
oh my
Sphere. That's
God,
all I'm gonna say.
unbelievable.
Oh, and
Unbelievable.
also make sure you grab onto your seat too.
Oh
It's
my
What is
crazy.
God.
happening?
So like the beginning, like when they were like were playing Bertha, the beginning, or maybe it was no, it was Mississippi Half Step Uptown Tootaloo.
Was it the
They did like a
Rainbow
visual where you go
Drive?
from like you start in Haight Ashbury and you basically extend upwards and like it is a little disorienting. Like I remember looking back and talking to like a few people behind me being like, "Are you guys okay?" Because like it is one of those things where like
Oh,
just being in there,
and then
it's such a like a such a different experience than what
Overstimulating.
you would expect. Yeah, there's a
Especially
lot
com
going
when
on.
it's very stimulating, yes.
Just
combine
some
the
highlights
best
from the show too, real
technology
quick.
and
Like Ramble on Rose and Deal. Playing Deal in Vegas is just so cool
So
to
good.
see. Like that was really awesome. And then Fire on the Mountain was unbelievable, and same thing with Scarlet Begonias. They had like little scarlet roses that were coming down, but scarlet begonias that were coming down as they were playing the song. It was just epic. The visuals were just off the chain.
So shout out Sphere, shout out Vegas. It's an amazing place to be. We'll be getting out there again, the five of us for sure. Hopefully
Definitely.
some of our
Business trip.
Yep.
yeah, for sure. We have some other dead friends that we can hopefully arrange to join us. It would be quite a time. We've rolled deep at dead shows before, 20, 25 people. You guys had what, about 10 people out there? So
9.
nine. I mean,
But I think
incredible
we had
time.
the clutch idea. If you bring a lot of people, you got to do rows in front of each other in the
Oh
same
yeah.
same section. So like
Yeah.
it wasn't like all of us in one long row. It was everyone kind of
Three,
clustered
that's
yeah.
how it
together.
was in San
The,
Diego.
the
It was the
three, four,
best.
I
three.
mean, no, San Francisco, and they just like they let us do whatever we wanted in that place. That was wild.
Little formation. All right, fellas. Any other oh yeahs or yeah ohs that we want to touch on here?
No.
I don't think we can top that.
No, no. Gabe, you want to
Yes, we
give us
can in
any
September.
30,
Yes.
30 to 60 seconds on any Celtics thoughts? We know you joined us late, just from game one, game two, or game three, and any thoughts that you may have had.
Um, my internet's a little funky right now, so if I poop out again, sorry about that. But I don't know. I'm still a little angry at the Celtics. They should be up 3-0 right now. They should be going for the sweep tonight, and all things can't be perfect. So, yeah, a little adversity is not a bad thing. I'm hoping for a JT like 50 burger tonight because he's due. He's absolutely due. He finally found a little bit of a groove last game, hitting some threes. So I'm hoping that continues. And they all seem when you listen to the press conferences, they all seem pretty relaxed and chill. So I'm hoping that's good and that they're kind of over their shooting woes and ready to dominate tonight.
Breaking news,
We
breaking
need
news.
it.
Top four order in the 2025 NBA draft. Starting at number 4, Cousin Gabe in the Charlotte Hornets. Number
Ooh.
3, the Philadelphia 76ers. Number 2, the San Antonio Spurs. The
Wow.
number 1 pick in the 2025 NBA draft goes
Oh
to
my God.
the Dallas Mavericks.
Holy
No.
wow.
NBA
The
set that.
Wow.
That's a
Mavericks.
setup.
That's
You
gonna
trade
be
Luka
Cooper
scripted.
Doncic and you
Flag,
get the number
you
one
are
pick.
a
Wow.
Dallas
Holy
Maverick
shit.
So two teams
Oh,
alongside.
basically snuck
let's
into the
just
top four.
let's
San
just
Antonio and
San
Dallas.
Antonio was the favorite. Oh, let's just Oh,
No,
that's
they weren't. They had
wild.
6%. They had 6% chance.
So who was the
Unbelievable.
favorite?
Cooper,
Utah, I think.
Utah.
Utah was. I don't
Utah.
even
Utah
know
was
where
the favorite.
Utah
Utah,
ended
New
up.
Orleans, at Washington, and Charlotte. Those were like the teams that should have been. Wow.
Insane. I mean, the fact that you're now going to add Cooper Flag to Kyrie and AD, that's a legit fucking team.
Nico
That's a
Harris.
legit
Maybe he
fucking
knew what he
team.
was doing.
That
Wow.
motherfucker, unbelievable.
He
His
had
ass
no
just
idea.
got bailed out. Like,
Scripted, like
So
you
bad.
said.
Obviously.
sorry to
Jeez.
interrupt, Gabe, but that was, I think, breaking news and just
All good.
something we
That was
needed there.
incredible.
Dallas, number 1 pick in the NBA draft. Unbelievable. All right, as I look at the clock here, it's 7:26, which means these gentlemen got to find some food to get into their belly in the next 14 minutes and tip off for Game 4 at Madison Square Garden. Knicks and Celtics up next. That's what we're focused on. Sox have a series versus Detroit. And
Was
Let's go.
Bernie too scared to come on?
nah,
No, he's working.
Bernie's probably
He's working.
producing the fucking game on
Yeah,
NBA
true.
radio. So shout out Bernie. He's been doing a ton of work at Sirius for NBA
Bernie.
radio. So good stuff from him. He'll be back with us over the next couple weeks. Fellas, always great to see you, and we'll do this again soon. Go Celtics.
Go
Let's go
Seas.
Go
Celtics.
Celtics.
Yes,
Let's go.